What's up, guys? Back again for the video series. Hey, I was thinking this video series right here would be perfect time for me to talk about the little things in fishing, right? Back to the basics. It's the time of the year where you're picking out gear, you're getting your boats ready, you're getting your tackle ready for fishing trips. And this video series will break it down. Everything from like hooks to line to different types of lures and when to use them. A lot of times, guys, it is the little things that make a huge difference. And I wanted to break down several of my favorite things in this video series. This video series is presented by Deck. Deck is the in-truck storage system that I have. You see me carry it around all over the country. Guys, it's awesome. You can put 2,000 pounds of payload on top of this thing. I have all my drawers here with all my tackle, extra tackle, tools and whatnot inside the Deck system. It's awesome. It fits a wide range of different trucks out there. We're going to drop a link in the description down below, so be sure if you're wanting a pretty cool gift for somebody or just to stay more organized and safe and secure, check out the Deck system. And by the way, I've got the Lear cap on here with the Lear locker on top, which is awesome. I can keep all my gear, more gear up top as well. But here's the thing about the Deck system, guys. You don't need a Lear topper to protect this thing. It's weatherproof. So this thing right here, you can just have it without, and you can put 2,000 pounds of payload on top. So you can put motorcycles and four-wheelers and construction gear, whatever you want to put on it. The Deck system is the way to go. But look, let's dive into this video series here. We're going to talk about crankbaits. All right, crankbaits. All right, so we've got a bunch of them in here. We've got, oh yeah, this one right here, which is nice. We've got this one. We've got all kinds of crankbaits in this box right here, fellas. Oh yeah. I think I'm grabbing them all. Oh yeah, Recon, mini Recons. Oh yeah, check this out. Okay, Guggen Squad lures in collaboration with Ketchco, guys. They've knocked it out of the park again. I've been using these crankbaits quite a bit this year, actually. Everything from the Grande Recon all the way down to the little mini Recon, which is nice. And then, of course, the square bills like the Bangers are great. These crankbaits are not only built right, but they've got good colors, they've got great components. Ketchco did not spare anything with making these baits. These hooks are right, to the right diameter, just everything about them. Even the baits, they feel good. They're just good. But listen, lots of different ones to choose from, right? Like, what do you pick out? So when you're going fishing, you got to first, when you're crankbait fishing, you got to first ask yourself, where am I fishing? Am I fishing deep or am I fishing shallow? So let's dive right into fishing deep. The Guggen Squad Grande Recon. This thing right here dives 15 to 20 feet deep. It casts really, really far. It gets the job done. Again, the hooks on this thing are really, really good. And I like this style bait, this depth of bait in the summertime. If I'm fishing ledges, so here's what you got to ask yourself. Whether you fish this particular bait or some other deep diving crankbait, it's totally your choice. But when I'm fishing a deep diving crankbait, a 15 to 20 foot deep diving crankbait, I'm not fishing it in 10 foot of water, and I'm not fishing it in 25 foot of water. I'm trying to fish it anywhere from about 12 out to about 17, right? Because it will get down and touch 20, but most of the time, it's really hard to get it to hit 20. You throw it on 10-pound line, you can get it down close to 20. That's about maximum depth, but it's gonna be the best anywhere from, say, 12 to 17 feet of water. So if I'm fishing a ledge or fishing bottom in 12 to 17 feet of water, that's when I'm gonna go for the Grande Recon, or at least a crankbait this size that gets down to 15 or 20 feet of water. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw it on a long rod. This is one of those baits, these bigger crankbaits, whether it's a 6XD or Grande Recon, whatever your favorite deep diving crankbait is, the key to this whole thing, guys, is making a super long cast. I use, and you've seen me use it a bunch, is I use the favorite 7'11" medium heavy rod. It's the Defender series, and it chunks it out there. I mean, it gets it out there far. I can make super long casts with it. It gets the job done, but I like a longer rod. I don't want a super stiff rod. I don't want a flipping stick, and I also don't want a noodle. I don't want a real super flimsy rod. I like one with a little bit of backbone, but a soft tip, and that allows me to not only get that bait out there far, but it allows me to kind of drive those hooks in when those fish get it. And here's a real important tip for you. Deep diving crankbaits, don't throw them on a real high-speed reel. You see me fishing a lot of different reels, but when I'm fishing deep diving crankbaits, I'm gonna fish a 6-to-1 or a 7-to-1 gear ratio. I stay away from the 8-to-1s. It'll wear you out. It just make your arm tired. It's really wear you out. So you want those lower speed gears. That's kind of a rule. So that's what you want to do. The other rule in crankbait fishing, and in crankbait fishing, there are some kind of do's and don'ts. Again, the rod is a very, very important tip. The gear ratio of the reel, very important tip. Line diameter. What kind of line you're going to fish these crankbaits on, super important, guys. I like, on these bigger crankbaits, I like 10 and 12 pound line. I know you're saying to yourself, wow, that's a big, giant, heavy crankbait. 10 or 12 pound line gets that bait down to the proper depth. I just don't have a problem losing the fish. It really works well. So I like the 10 or the 12. I'm not gonna fish it much on, say, 17 or 20. I might go to 15 occasionally if I'm fishing around a lot of timber or a lot of big brush piles and I'm trying to like tick the top of the brush piles. You kind of have to play around with it a little bit. But you can, you can play around with the line a little bit. But every time you go up in line size, it's gonna really prevent that bait from getting a little bit deeper. So if you don't need it to get to 17 or 18 feet deep, you can fish it on 15 pound line and really cover the water at say 14 to 15 really well. So you just have to play around with it a little bit, make a good decision on the size of line that you're gonna fish. But I really very seldom go above 15, mostly 10 and 12. To be honest with you, mostly 10 and 12. So that's on the big one. Now when you get to the regular recon, which this one is gonna go down to 8 to 12, you know, you're fishing it shallower, you're fishing it around a lot more cover a lot of times, and I will throw it say on 12 to say 15. I very seldom throw this style bait on 10 because I'm usually fishing it a little bit shallower. 8 to 12, that's kind of your visible cover, that's kind of your brush piles, that's kind of shorelines, you know, that kind of stuff. And I like that little bit heavier line. It's just, you know, I'm not gonna break my bait off, you know, when a fish hits it. I'm not gonna scratch my line up too bad. That 12 or 15 will hold up a little bit better, but very seldom 17, okay? This bait right here is a great size bait, kind of like a Series 5. You know, this, if you're into the Strike King series, this is a Series 6, and this would be kind of a Series 5 as far as the depth goes. These baits have great rattles in them and great components as well. So that's really the deal there. Rod on this, I'm not gonna throw the 7-11 that much on this particular rod, especially if I'm going down the shoreline. I'm gonna bring it back a little bit to maybe a 7-4, maybe a 6-stick series, 7-4 heavy. You know, something a little bit shorter than a 7-11, because a lot of times I'm trying to make accurate casts, you know, beside something, down the face of a dock, down a shoreline, you know, things like that. So it's not a bomb cast every single time like it is with these bigger baits. When I'm fishing this bait, it's all about a bomb cast. I mean, I'm firing it out there. You saw me at Guntersville, bomb casting it out there. But this 8 to 12 foot crankbait is really, really good for that other stuff. But again, line size, I'm upping it just a little bit. Now we get down to the very smallest one they make, and I've actually caught a lot of fish on this. This is the mini recon actually, and it goes 3 to 6. Super small. This is a little 6.5 foot rod type bait, 7 foot medium heavy rod, 7 foot medium. This is a real finessey type thing. I'm gonna fish this, and I will drop back and fish this on 10 just because it's such a small bait. I'll fish it on 10 or 12. It's not gonna run good at all on 15 or 17. I don't even know if it would even run at all on 17 or 20. It might even just blow out totally. So, you know, real heavy line on these small crankbaits. You don't want to go down that road. You're just not going to get the bites. It's weird. Like you would think to yourself, well, it's getting down to the fish, but it just, the way the bait vibrates, the way the bait, you know, makes commotion in the water, all those things just really slow the bites down when you don't have the right line. So just picking the right line is very important. So again, 10 or 12 on this most of the time, but a lot shorter rod. So I'm going to go down again that medium heavy action rod, or even a medium on this. Fluorocarbon for the most part is what I'm going to fish with all these. You know, I'm going to stay away from braid, and I'm not fishing braid on my crankbaits, so I'm going to stay away from braid on those. And then, you know, just jump into this one here. This is the Grande Banger, and this is a square bill, and we've got the regular Banger, which is great. That's probably my most popular size that I'm going to fish with. I have this one tied on often, and this one right here is going to go 2 to 5 feet, and this one right here is going to go 3 to 7. It's a little bit bigger. So you have two different sizes. These baits right here, square bills, are made to crash into things, right? You're trying to deflect them off stumps, rocks, shorelines, dock pylons. You're really just going into cover with these things. You're trying to like just crank it through brush piles. You know, square bills, because of this big square bill, really deflects a lot of cover. And it's amazing to me that these baits can actually go through some of the cover they do without getting hung up. But when I'm fishing square bills, like a Banger, I'm fishing it on heavier line. I'm gonna fish this on 15 to 20. This particular bait right here, this bigger one, 17 to 20 most of the time. This particular one right here, okay, 15 most of the time. So, you know, you're gonna up your line a little bit. These are not get it down deep type baits. You're still trying to hit cover. I'm still trying to, you know, bang it into things. Look, this is a square bill. I'm not gonna fish a square bill out in over 10 or 12 foot of water and just let it come through the water column. I want it to hit the bottom. I want it to hit rocks. I want it to hit pylons. all the different things. It needs to deflect and crash into things. Check out the rattle. That's important, guys. This thing sounds good. It looks good. Again, Catch Co. and the Guggen Squad, they have really come up with a really fine choice of colors here. Really good stuff, guys. So, you know, that's it. On this particular square bill, I'm going to throw it on a 7-foot medium heavy most of the time, or even a 7.3. This one here might even go to a 7.3 occasionally. This particular one here is going to be more on my 7-foot rod. So a little bit smaller square bill, I'm going to throw a 7-foot medium heavy most of the time. And that's really what I'm going to do. You know, color-wise, you know, you see this here. This is citrus shad. This works really well in the summer when the water's hot, kind of clear, kind of that green clear water. This citrus shad works really well. In the spring, when you're trying to like bounce it off stuff, fish are up shallow spawning, cruising around, bluegill are up shallow. You know, this square bill like this in this color, I'm going to throw this thing up in the summertime around the bluegill beds, or a pre-spawn and spawn during the bass spawn as well. So, you know, that's kind of a rundown on these crankbaits here, and my choices of rods. Again, it's crankbaits are very particular on line size and rod length. So pay attention to those things when the next time you're out on the water and when you're getting your tackle ready. Make sure you rig them up on the right stuff, and hopefully these tips will help you catch a lot of fish. Do me a favor, guys, drop a comment down below and share the video out there for me, and I appreciate all the support, guys. We'll see you. Bam!